Let's wait for it. We're still waiting for it. I think we may be. In fact, we are now, in fact, live. Welcome to the Geek Battle show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and let's get ready for the show. We have the cream of the crop here today. I've seen a bunch of trailers and we've got some things I'm sure are going to be fun to discuss. And we'll also work out who our Geek of the Week will be, because I'm sure it will be someone here. Now, on the show tonight is Capital Fave. Say hello to the people and give us a random geek trivia fact if you have one.
Hail from the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles, and Warhammer 40k, it's me, Capital Fave. And my geek fact for today is that I saw an interesting video about the solution to the Fermi paradox. This is the reason why we haven't actually heard anything from our neighbors from other planets. The interesting one that I saw in that video is that one is probably people are living in ice worlds and they have no idea to get behind that ice barrier, and that's why they don't send out signals, and also water worlds where technology doesn't develop. The other interesting one is that there might be a giant predatory alien race out there, and the rest of our neighbors are like, shh, don't make a sound, they will come. Except for us, we're like chirping like birds in the jungle where there's a giant predator. That's what basically happened in Warhammer 40k, but everything blew up and then Tyranid came.
So,
giant predator defeat civilization.
Just for clarity, the Fermi paradox, you say, is that the one about why has no one else contacted us?
Yes.
Okay, I can tell you why no one else has contacted, right? Through the wall behind me where I'm pointing now are my neighbours. I haven't heard a peep from them all day. Yeah, they're still probably there, right? So basically, the universe is pretty big. So we're just, there's a reason why it's called space.
That's the actual accepted answer, because space travel between great distances is still a very hard thing to do. So, but one of the other things that we think is like, it's been such a long time. There has to be a civilization.
No, it hasn't. Like, the human race are only, like...
years or so.
No, but, like, 1,000 years ago, we were, like, running in fields with sticks, right? So why do we think... Like, Wham's if the most intelligent animals on any other planet are, like, dolphins? Well, like, why haven't the dolphins built the space rocket yet? Like, just because literally we're putting so much pressure on us. Tim, you wanted to come in on this?
So, I think you're coming at it from a very thoughtful perspective, David, in that if you look at a systems-based thinking, the Fermi paradox only applies to life how we perceive it, like maybe a carbon-based life form. It's possible, like, in Star Trek they have the crystalline entity, that there are other forms of life or intelligent life out there. However, in our instance, our perception of time can also be a factor in why the Fermi paradox is still a paradox and not an answer. Maybe time is perceived differently in different evolutionary systems. It's possible that there are other forms of intelligence that are out there in a microscopic scale or something like that. We don't know enough about other systems to apply our understanding to it.
Now,
but I'm going to go with the Warhammer 40k answer, okay? There's a giant alien predator civilization out there.
Look, guys, before we went live, I was thinking about, look, David, what is it going to take for you to have to hold in to not to tell everyone that the Earth is flat today? But unfortunately, you're getting me close to that point. Now, I have noticed during that, Dev, you are here. Say hello to the people.
Hi, I was taking a nap. Hello, everyone, I'm Dev.
Do you have a geek trivia fact for us?
Geek trivia fact? Okay, so my geek trivia fact is, in the 90s, before the massive split, they were planning an MCU with Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and Captain America. But that plan got shelved because no studio was willing to take the risk, so it became an event on the animated shows instead, with Secret Wars. Spider-Man, the animated series.
Wow. Like, it's crazy to think that was ever seen, because now it seems like such a thing, the MCU, that it was ever seen as a risk. Like, what did they think was going to be that happens? Like, oh, what if it's a bad film and we put them all together, we'll destroy every superhero we have in one fell swoop.
There was one thing, like, someone went up to Marvel Studios, and this is the guy who told the studios, instead of selling IPs to other companies, just make the movies yourself. Apparently, Marvel didn't think of that by themselves. Apparently, there was one guy who...
Okay, so there's a reason for that. In the 90s, the 80s comic book boom was ending, and Marvel was failing as a business, and they had to sell the rights to make money to continue.
Yeah. Which again is crazy. But you know, this doesn't always work out. I know it's slightly different, but I think it was like the Disney Infinity video game where you'd have all of the action figures. Like, I think they made that themselves, and then they suddenly realised after a few years, like 3 years, it's like, we're hemorrhaging money doing this. We don't know how to do this. We should just farm it out to someone else. So, you know, it's going to be really difficult to know when to do the things yourself. But in the case of Marvel, they're storytellers, and obviously by the time they were sold to Disney, they were only a couple of years into the MCU. So they kind of did fail in a sense. That's weird to say, but if they had been such a success, if they had been such a success, they'd have never sold up to Disney. But so they ended up selling to someone whose business it is to make movies.
I was saying, like, the best part about that is, right, you see, if you go back to the 90s, right, if they didn't sell the rights to Spider-Man and Fantastic Four to Fox and whatever other company it was, they wouldn't use Iron Man. They would not have used Iron Man in the first movie. Yeah.
I also think this is the thing. I think there was success, maybe not biggest successful, and also not security. I think Disney as a name has security, and if I think about this Extreme Improv or Geek Battle show, we become so successful, at least let's just say we make millions, but then Disney comes, David, how about you sell it to us?
Yes, like, I would sell this. I would sell this for £10.99. No, like,
that's a long-term game. Disney will. I mean, I'm not sure now, but at least for a 100-year company, that's like security, job security, and then more money to do bigger things.
Well, Disney bought a storytelling franchise. You know, they bought two. They had Star Wars and Marvel. Marvel was at a depressed price, and Star Wars didn't know where to go. So it's possible that they knew they could bank on at least these franchises to make a 10 years worth of money and plans before it kind of parted out. I think that's a big part. I was listening to a special, a retrospective on Seth MacFarlane and the Spawn series, and how he grew his brand on his own and then sort of lost it because of extending himself too much and not honoring the contract agreements he had with the creators he was working with.
Wait, Seth MacFarlane?
Tim,
not Family Guy, like Todd? Spawn.
Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane.
I was going to say,
wow.
I was like, Seth MacFarlane did Spawn. I was like,
no.
Wow, that would have blown my mind.
Sorry, Seth. Sorry, Todd.
Yeah.
I'm sure Seth is like, oh, yeah. But
Family Guy made Spawn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Family Guy Spawn. Oh, jeez. But like,
as a
like
geek
the
fact, that would have been a 10
Todd McFarlane was very helpful in sort of understanding how you can create a thing, but also without understanding some of the business, you create weaknesses in it that are inherent and also become sort of like a structural issue if you're not honoring your agreements.
Yeah.
But, you know, Disney has such a storytelling, like, I guess, they're in the business of telling stories, you know?
I think Disney is one of the rare beats where it's like a very ruthless businessman and also a very good creative, which doesn't happen a lot. Either you're very creative and you stink at business, or you're good at business and you're not really creative.
They are, but then, like, at some point, you know, fans become a little toxic in some ways, and I wonder how that impacts the creative franchise, you know? Like, do they change decisions is it executives making those little mistakes that make it not fun to watch, not entertainment,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
in over time, that's what happens to every business, I would say.
yeah, like you kind of have to do a hard reset or something. I would love to see Disney take on Doctor Doom as a protagonist. I think he's got a lot of depth in the comics right now, and if he had like a 10-year arc where he's their Thanos or something, that'd be super cool. See his rise from being a lonely person in Latveria, like to suddenly the king of that. His travels in the mystic arts and the sciences. Like, you've got such rich characters once a writer adopts it. Just get behind it, maybe,
I'm all for that thing, but first just needed to do better cartoons again. They stink now.
Yeah. Start with the small stuff first. I bet you if Marvel Comics wanted to have expanded into film, start with animated, do quality animation at a reasonable price, put the story in and get people involved, build your revenue that way, and then start on like an Iron Man-esque movie where you have like one of your power players like Namor or Squirrel Girl.
Here's the thing with Marvel and animated movies, animation in general. They have the infrastructure for best animation, but they have set limitations they put on themselves that make it bad.
Yeah.
What are the limitations?
Every show still has a 65 episode limit.
Justice League Unlimited, I think Justice League Unlimited is a version of animated shows or films that has a lot of depth.
The best tip.
Like you've got moments where Batman and like Omega Man, I don't know, he's the son of one of the gods, the new gods or something. They're in a bar and they're about to throw some hands, to try and get answers. And the Flash shows up and he's like, "Oh, that's my bad guy." And the Flash shows up and he's like, "Are you off your meds again?" And the bad guy's like, "Yeah, you know it." And it's just a simple moment of like wonderful writing where you have this little bit of like the Flash doing community policing, where he's just like talking to his people and being like, "I need an answer. Okay, check yourself into the hospital because you're off your meds."
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll let Cap say it because I think we were saying the same thing. Go on, Cap.
No. Finish your point. Then. Finish your point.
Okay, I was going to say the villain that the Flash talks to is the Trickster, played by Mark Hamill.
I love that clip. That is like, to me, that is what a superhero is. Oh.
I just want to rally on that point because Tim, that happened in the awesome decade there is the 2000s, where films, but animation was like booming. DreamWorks, TV series, everything was good. They did it so well. They created Kung Fu Panda. I mean, that film did so well that the Chinese film industry held meetings to figure out why they couldn't do a well enough film that represents Chinese culture and such a good enough hit in the international market. They were holding meetings for Kung Fu Panda 1! But right now, Kung Fu Panda 4 is out and it's kind of disappointing. That's where I was standing after I saw it. I finished it, 17 minutes left of it, but it was overall disappointing.
Look at Star Wars, Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, The Bad Batch, The Clone Wars. That's pretty good animation, and they're using technology from the 2010s that are telling good stories. That's a good place to build a solid franchise with probably more limited resources than a movie. You're definitely telling a different story with your movies.
I always think, what happened to those writers? Did they get dumb as they went along, or they're just, new people? Who is writing the new shows that are terrible? Bad Batch is so far is good, and that's why I'm assuming, why wasn't the writers of Bad Batch within The Mandalorian? Huh?
I like The Mandalorian. I think it was decent. Yeah. Don't forget, you're also limited in some storytelling with The Mandalorian because one of the main characters wears his helmet for most of the time. And he's committed to it, unlike Master Chief.
The interesting thing with the Mandalorian is I think the first two seasons were really strong. For the most part, I thought Book of Boba Fett was good, but it had issues when you look at it. It wasn't bad, but clearly after a little while with so much being flashback and flash forward, it was clear that they kind of they'd lost the plot somewhere along the way, and then that impacted into, obviously, as things continued, into Mando season 3.
Although I do have
The only
to say,
thing I remember from Book of Boba Fett was the Power Rangers. The 5
Oh, yeah.
and the
Oh.
multicolored motorcycles.
No,
It
like,
was so odd to like have like edgy teens in a desert planet.
yeah,
with colored hair.
Yeah,
yeah. It
like I just don't. Yeah, there's little bits where it's like, you know, emo South Park moment, and like no, stop.
The problem you see, but here, I'd say you've actually got a little bit of the opposite problem with something like the Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian. Is in the Book of Boba Fett, he was never in his mask, and they suddenly had to do all this stuff with his character, which killed off all of the mystique of the character.
And he
True.
didn't do anything. He got beat up with the whole show. The
Yeah.
whole show.
Well, to the point that in the penultimate episode, it literally, he was a cameo in it, and then after the fact, the guy that plays him was like, "The series is called The Book of Boba Fett. I think I should have been the main character." He literally was saying this stuff.
Yeah,
It's like the whole story, right? I think he did save people. I think that's what he did most of the series. But like every time he was in a fight, he lost. And the worst part is after he lost, he was like, "Hey, were you willing to join my team? You beat me up really good. I want you in my team."
yeah. I'm a loser, so please join my team.
Even with the Wookiee thing, it's like you're trying to kill him. It's like, "Hey, no hard feelings. How about you join my team? You beat me up
You-
real good."
You've got hair. I'm currently bald. How about we share?
Exactly. That's my approach to most people. That's why I've got you guys on the show. It's just like, at some point, I'll ask the favour.
I do have to say, with the Bad Batch, the one thing is lacking in the Bad Batch that wasn't the thing in the Clone Wars is charm. The kid has charm, but I don't feel like the clone. The thing with like the Anakin Skywalker, right, in the prequels movies, zero charm. Although I don't think these guys are that bad, but I'm saying the animated Skywalker had a lot of charm, had a lot of, you know, back and forth, good comeback, good lines. That also kind of lacks in the Bad Batch show, where the characters are kind of bland. I wish they were more I mean, like, use the Rambo guy, do Stallone jokes, it works.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of character in the different clones, but I feel like you're limited too by how the one character they're cloned after is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was about to change directions a little bit, so keep going with
I forgot what I was going to say, to be honest.
Oh, okay. No worries then. Okay, so I was going to say, there's a few things that I've seen trailers for. Have you guys seen trailers for Joker 2? Have you seen this? Okay, well, let's bring up our shield and bring up.
Joaquin Phoenix in it?
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is back.
And
Okay.
Lady Gaga.
And Lady Gaga, which, you know,
Oh.
yeah, you kind of wouldn't expect it, but there you go. Hang on, so let's bring this up so it's not got the adverts beforehand. Obviously, I can't play it with sound, I'm afraid. Let's see if I can't add closed captions, so we can't even read it. So here we see this, and let's add on our shield, and shield activated. So an incredibly skinny Joaquin Phoenix, like, he's taken this method acting to be this tortured character insane, and clearly he's locked up. And at a certain point, he sees her. Harley Quinn. So I think it looks a really interesting trailer. The thing I'm nervous about is that, to me, the first one was so good that as soon as they said that this one is a musical, which I think they've backtracked on that a little bit. It's not quite a musical, but it's got Lady Gaga in it, for God's sake, and you're about to see the direction they go with it on the trailer. Like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like someone's going to put, like, Krusty the Clown singing Send Me a Clown or whatever from The Simpsons over that clip, I'm sure.
There was in the Arkham Origins game where it's like the origins of the Harley Quinn and Joker when they first met, when she's first giving him therapy. There's interesting scenes where like she's talking to him and he's like describing what is going on in his head, and she kind of finds it funny. She kind of thinks it as a harmful joke that he's making, but inside you play as the Joker and it's all this demented shit with a little bit of colorful humor too. But I thought that's how he got her. Like his manipulation was so good. She was like taking it so breezy, but like inside like really fucked up shit. I thought that was very interesting gameplay.
Okay, I just want to draw your attention here because our force field may mask something here, but when you see the Joker running through the streets here, he's literally being chased by people dressed as the Joker. So is that people are is he trying to turn over a new leaf now that he's got Harley and all of the obsessive people about him in the first film are sending him back in a bad way? Like, he's literally doing the same dance that he did famously in the first film. I think this is going to be good, but it might suffer a little bit from sequelitis, where there's too many callbacks to the first film in it.
I mean, I'd be interested in seeing that in terms of the callback issue.
I mean, there's a half dozen callbacks just in this trailer alone.
Yeah.
I just don't know where is this going. That's the thing. Like,
so this is a really good shot. She puts the lipstick on this. I wonder how many times they had to do that take. You know, just like, okay, because look, how do you line that up? You do the lipstick. If it was like, okay, so let's remove this second. Let's discuss. So if I was to draw the lipstick here, then I could line up to it, move, and then move back, and it would look like it was all perfect. But she draws it live in shot. I can imagine it's like take 53, draw. Like here, it's like, no, Joaquin, go back, smudging it, bring in another plate of glass, you know.
No, I think I know how they did that. They layered that. It's not like one shot, it's like two shots layered.
But how do you layer a shot of glass? Because it's transparent, isn't it? Because it would have something behind it.
No, but like, it's mirror, isn't it? So...
Well, it's awesome. I don't know enough about shooting film with that, but maybe they have a filter where they shoot something that doesn't pick up like the color green a lot, so they have
or they just edited the CGI, like if the line didn't really cross, they can edit it in footage.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone who's just watching it is crazy because it's the Joker, so
Wait, I'd hate to think that's a visual effects shot, literally on lipstick going on a plate of glass.
Yeah, they probably had the lipstick, but for the perfection of it, they could have just been like, it's a little off, we'll correct it at the end.
Well, maybe. It might be a super simple shot, actually. But who knows?
That'd be interesting in seeing what, Lady Gaga has to say about her creativity behind her character. How does she take the role of Harley Quinn seriously? This different one. Yeah,
like it's going to be interesting because obviously, like Margot Robbie is someone who, in her playing it, they were like, well, she nailed it. People were like, she's the best thing, far like miles ahead of everything else in Suicide Squad. And obviously she was the main part of the Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey or whatever they called the Birds of Prey film. What was that film called?
Yeah.
The Emancipation of...
The Emancipation of Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, whatever. Stupidly long title. But, I am looking forward to that. I think my bold prediction is whatever James Gunn has got working, that he's working on in the background, the Joker film series is still going to be the best DC films that come out in the next 10 years.
Matt Reeves and the Batman.
I really liked the Batman, but I think I preferred the first Joker. So, to me, I really liked the Batman, but it suffered a bit from reboot-itis. Sorry, I'm using all these itis phrases now. Where there were certain bits of it where they were like, clearly they were like, well, we're going to keep this element. And that was quite good in the previous reboot. We will keep a dash of that as well. There was so much of it that felt familiar territory to the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, rebootitis is a chronic illness, so that's that.
Although the one thing that has always griped me about the Batman is when Batman is fighting all of the Riddler's goons at the end. You've got to remember, these aren't trained soldiers. They're just like internet guys.
Yeah.
It'd be like he's taking on us. You know, suddenly.
I saw me, David, with Spider-Man as well. Like Spider-Man took on like Mysterio, a scientist who knows like technology and deep side, and Batman just beat up a bunch of Redditors.
Yeah.
And they're beating up each other on top of like a catwalk. So, and these guys are like, yeah, we're fine. We can fight, 200 feet above a flooding Superdome.
Yeah. How did they get to do that?
He needed adrenaline to beat just them. How is he going to handle it? This is the thing I have to say though. I like the Batman, the Dark Knight verse, but like that's okay. Just leave it at that. We still don't have like the fantastical Batman yet. We did get him with Ben Affleck. He didn't kill people. That's the only thing. But other than that, he was like the comic or the cartoon Batman. He was like taking on armies and doing like cool stuff. I want to see that bit of Batman because like I've seen the realistic Batman more than once now. It made complete sense to me that Ben Affleck's Batman would kill people. No,
Batman would always kill people.
David,
I don't care what they say. Like literally, in the Dark Knight, when he can ride straight into the Joker, and the greatest detective of all time is so smart that he just crashes his bike, knocks himself out, so he's completely vulnerable to the most dangerous person. And then literally, Rachel. No, literally, right? Then he blows up Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, and at the end he still won't kill him.
Wait, Jake Gyllenhaal?
I forgot her name. Maggie Gyllenhaal played Rachel in The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah. So when you then see Ben Affleck's Batman, and you hear Alfred's like, oh, it was easier when there were mechanical wind-up penguins. Yeah, mechanical wind-up penguins. Maybe he wouldn't be a murderer. But someone along the way killed Robin. Well, in fact, they revealed it was Joker. Joker killed Robin. So Batman was like, God damn it, I've had enough. And then he just started handling things.
No. I will not agree to Batman killing. I just don't like that. Maybe accidental killing, okay, that I get it. But like, we don't want Batman to just, he was just running over people with a Batmobile. He was like,
see,
no.
with that sentence, with that full process, I've got my favorite quote, right? Batman doesn't kill people, he just permanently cripples them.
Yes, that I agree with. Beat them up so they never walk again. But like, don't kill them, that beats the idea.
Does he kill parademons?
Yeah, kind of, like, because in the Whedon cut, doesn't he, like, catch one and then it just disintegrates?
Well, I think he, like, doesn't he have a car with a Gatling gun, and he's targeting parademons when they're finally attacking Steppenwolf? Like, I'm pretty sure, maybe they're not intelligent, but if you're gonna be dark side, maybe you have to have some measure of intelligence in your troopers. 1 second, guys. So they can take out.
Oh!
Gerald! Hello!
Hello, Gerald. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good. Now, Tim was just explaining to everyone why Batman should kill all of his enemies.
No, David, he was explaining.
I was just providing evidence of how Batman may need, there's a gray area in which Batman operates eventually once it becomes more than human.
Tim, I'm for the Justice League Ultimate Batman, okay? He doesn't kill parademons, he just has an electric gauntlet where he just punches them and they're like, shot, now we're done for. I like that.
I think that makes sense.
In the comics, and I guess basically it's the first issue or so, Batman actually had a gun and killed people. And then at some point it changed. And in the current comic book structure, he has a son, Damian, who he had with Talia Al Ghul, who is Ra's al Ghul's daughter, and his name is Damien, and he is more like he doesn't have any qualms about killing.
Okay, I've got here.
I always recommend that the discussion that he has with Jason in the Red Hood movie, like why Batman doesn't kill. I always found that really good, where Batman's like, if I do that, then that's it. It's Ben Affleck Batman, folks. I'll be running people over with the Batmobile. Yeah. That's exactly what I should do.
Yeah. Okay, so
like Damian Wayne, who eats Wiggles, fast food, and then blows up a toilet with his. Like, I've got no problems about that.
I was raised by people who kill people since I was a kid.
Okay, so I've got here that apparently Batman killed Hugo Strange in Batman #1. So there we go.
That was #1, David.
Yes, that's his origin. His origin is he's a killer. He is a killer in #1. Say hello to my little friend. Right.
David, did you ever read that? There's a reason why we never heard of it. Because the Batman was publicly...
Okay, cap a fave. Cap. I'll try to make this clear in answer to your question, did I read that? I don't read comics!
He just writes books, he doesn't read books.
I've written more books than I've ever read.
My favorite Batman discourse right now, though, is David Ayer and the director Joss Whedon arguing over which Robin died in the DCU. Joss Whedon says it's Dick. David Ayer says Jason.
Oh wait, so where did this come from?
During interviews, Joss Whedon said the Robin who died was Dick, and David Ayer keeps saying it's Jason.
Oh. Let's have a look. I'm trying to see if I can find this. So Joss Whedon. Anytime you look up Joss Whedon, you just get like he's a bad. Oh my god! One of these headlines here: the Avengers original writer recalls Joss Whedon's takeover. He's a bad person. So what can you do with this?
I got the director wrong. I mean Zack Snyder, not Joss Whedon. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Zack Snyder says Dick, and David Ayer says Jason.
Oh well, Zack Snyder's the one that decides because it came up in his film first.
Yeah.
But obviously, Justice League, the first version, was Justice League. So I wonder what Joss Whedon's actual take on this is.
But he never even talked about it in his films. Like, at least in Batman vs Superman, there was the suit of armor. But the Justice League, he was like, nope, we're not going to go back to that. Batman's a nice teddy bear now. He doesn't even do anything. He doesn't even fight in this film.
Yeah. Okay, so what was I going to say? Right. So let's have a look. Have any of you guys seen the trailer? Unless we already spoke about this last week, because I can't remember. But I've seen trailers that are relatively new, I believe, of Alien Romulus and Beetlejuice. Have any of you seen either of these trailers? You've seen the Beetlejuice trailer. Well, let's see if we can bring that up, just so we can check it out. And I think this one might be able to have closed captions on it. I might be wrong, or maybe it was this. Yeah, this one does. So let's bring it up here, and so we can react to Beetlejuice. But obviously, what is this? Right? No, Beetlejuice. Okay. And they just play Day-O. There you go. It says Day-O at the bottom of the screen if you can see it. And so, of course, it's Wednesday, because she basically was Lydia anyway. That's the guy from Torchwood as well. He appears in so much stuff now.
So the mom's alive.
Yeah.
What about the dad? Is he alive?
No, he's someone that got into trouble in real life, so they've killed him off. Yeah.
Oh.
What happened?
He has allegations which I think are just not even allegations. I think I'm not sure if they were convictions, but I think he's on some sort of list or register. Let's just leave it at that.
He worked for Nickelodeon?
Well, quite possibly. Okay, so look at this. Look at this. We've spoken about the badness of the dad, and we've missed the whole damn trailer. Right. So anyway, so look, they go into the loft. Who has an attic where they don't touch it for 30 years? Now, maybe you wouldn't. But do you think... Was it Alec Baldwin in this?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's not in this either. I think he's had other things he's been busy with.
I have been in some homes where the attics haven't been touched for many years.
Shit, I thought you were going to say you've been in some homes where Alec Baldwin was. Right.
No, not yet.
So, I mean, the trailer looks good on it. The one thing that to me is very odd is that, I can't remember the character's name, but the daughter, that she's fully grown, but she's still super goth.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks
Lydia?
basically the same. That basically.
She never grew out of that face, Gerald.
Yeah.
She never grew out of that face.
Good for her. It's Winona Ryder. She was probably, you know, she's literally stood next to, oh god, what is Wednesday's name? Her real name? Jenna Ortega, right? Yeah, and literally she is just like her younger replacement. So she was like, the goth makeup. I've got to wear goth makeup. Hide any cracks or lines. Basically.
She was also, I just realized that the girl who played in Beetlejuice was also in, like, the Dracula of Gary Oldman as the wife of Keanu Reeves with the terrible British accent.
Quite possibly. I can't remember if I'm honest. I'm excited for Beetlejuice. I don't know what the budget is, but I feel like this is going to fail. Like the first film.
The vibe isn't very that well, but it's Tim Burton's the one who's doing it, right?
I don't know. Is it directed by him, or is it just produced? Let's see. A story by. Let's see what we've got here. So, story by blah blah blah.
The director's Tim Burton.
Screenplay directed by Tim Burton. How about that? Wow. What was the last thing Tim Burton actually directed?
Dumbo or is it Alice in Wonderland?
Wow.
Although here's the thing though, Alice in Wonderland was basically nonsense. He was like, I'm going to do an epic war drama on the Alice in Wonderland where nothing makes sense, where people can eat cake and become giants. Play the Jabberwocky, it's a difficult thing to do now. Oh, it was fun though. I did have fun, but like, it wasn't Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Have any of you guys seen the new Ghostbusters film? See, I haven't seen it yet. And I've heard that like fan reaction is relatively positive, but it's kind of got panned by critics. And I don't know how well it's done at the box office or not. But it feels like we've now reached the point where lots of the films that people grew up with are getting the sequels simply because the people that grew up with them are now executives and able to greenlight them. But I don't know, like, who is Beetlejuice for? Is it only for the people? Well, yeah, like anyone who watches Wednesday might be like, oh, Wednesday's in it. But literally, is it just hanging on her because no one remembers the first film? I bet, like, okay.
Didn't even see it, and I'm not interested in seeing it.
Wow.
Okay, so
No, it's cool.
with Beetlejuice, they're banking on the fact that it's nostalgic, it had a cult following, and Wednesday.
But like, how nostalgic is it? Like, it was a big deal when it came out.
Truly.
Okay, who here has watched Beetlejuice within the last 10 years? Oh, okay. Well, screw you guys. My theory is it's something we remember from when we were little. When we were like 5 years old, it was like, oh, this is cool because he's rude and stuff. But then actually watching it under the modern lens, it may not be all that good.
It's not too bad in modern lens.
I didn't see it as a kid. I actually saw it as an adult.
Captain Faith, you are still a kid. You're only like 12 years old, I swear.
Here's the thing about
He's
Beetlejuice.
15 now.
I remember
okay.
there was a big, massive campaign trying to get a sequel for years.
Yeah.
For Beetlejuice because Michael Keaton had just come back from because of Spider-Man and the Birdman.
Yeah.
So he come back to do like Limelight. So ever since then, you're begging him to do Beetlejuice for years.
I think
And
that
he's
that
done really well.
So we have to remember that nostalgia is it's a very powerful recall emotion, but once we start to feel it, it's very weak, it doesn't have lasting power. So it's a great way to get people to go, but not to stay. So I think that's important.
Yeah, my brother always says that nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, like that's actually what a lot of fascists do, is they make a call to nostalgia because it is a cheap emotion in that it is easy to invoke. But then you have to follow up with some other emotion, which is typically somewhere around anger or disgust or fear. And that is what keeps people lasting. In terms of a movie, you know, the cult following, I think, is going to help with, getting the committed people there, and then the nostalgia bringing the rest.
The interesting thing about nostalgia is that, like, you're not always, like, that nostalgic with the whole thing, like, I'd say, like, Shark Tale is one of my favorite films.
What?
Incredibly. Yeah.
Oh my God, Cap.
Yeah, but here's the thing, David. I look at it now and go, yeah, it's not a great film, but again, I still like it. I'm willing to admit that I'm not going to get into that Oscar, the animated film. I'm not going to argue.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a time and a place, and especially if it's part of your childhood and it was, around good parts of your childhood, you're going to be more related.
Now, speaking of parts of my childhood that have been ruined...
I think back to, like, the Turtles movies.
Yeah. Go ahead. Right. I was going to say, speaking of parts of my childhood that have been ruined, Gerald, I just saw your comment about the DCU Superman logo, which, if you haven't seen it, it's this. I don't like it. It's not an S.
That's a road. That's a road.
It's a no smoking sign.
Yeah.
I mean, look here. If you see the mouse move,
like a diamond.
It's an
overly
S.
stylized. I mean, you can see the S, but not really. Yeah.
Not at all. Look at this. There is the bottom of the S, the middle of the S, and the top of the S. This is just the middle. It's a no smoking sign.
Bridge.
True, but inherently, I agree. It's not that great, but inherently you do have the S with the red border, the top.
How is Superman ever going to be called Superman? Because people look and they'll be like, "Oh, what's the S for? Is it super?" It's like, look at that guy, Mummy. He really hates smoking. It's Smoking Man. It's non-smoking Man.
But it's Superman. It is super.
This is my people's symbol for hope. No, it isn't. It's a don't cross now sign. Oh.
I also
wanted to
talk a bit about the God thing. But like, the weird thing is, like, in the 90s and the 2000s, right? Gods, even the cartoons and in pop culture, they were kind of cool. Like, you had Sting. He's kind of a god symbol. Like, he had the face makeup, he's like the face boy and the tough guy. And then you had Casey Jones. There's like these kind of cool characters. Right now, gods have colored hair, and they're like, we're angry teenagers with zero anything to that. Like, the 90s and the 2000s gods were different.
I think it's a twisting of goth to emo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think goth is still
emo.
Black. Yeah.
There's alt rock and the acid wash jeans. The Casey Jones I remember played hockey, and he had a serial killer hockey mask, and he was dressed like he wanted to play like Blink 182 or Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam, like a more masculine Pearl Jam or something. Then it went to punk, and then it went to like goth, and then I don't know. I'm old.
The Casey Jones I know was Green Arrow.
No, that was terrible, Dan. That was like the terrible thing. Like, I hate the Arrow guy for doing that. Oh, I hate that song.
Casey Jones was the same guy as Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 2020, in the 2012 movies.
And David, he didn't even grow a head. He was basically just a shaved head. And he was
an undercover police officer.
Wow.
I gotta get going, guys. I got a delivery.
Yes, pleasure as always, Tim.
All right.
Take care, man.
Guys. Bye.
Although, speaking of Steven Amell, they've just announced that Netflix got the right to his wrestling show.
No way. What is it?
Right,
wait, so that thing that there was, what was it called? Heels.
Heels, yes.
So they're going to make more of it.
They're either going to have broadcast rights, and if it does well, they're going to make more.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, Stephen Amell just announced it like a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'd like to. But yeah, that's something that has evaded. I haven't even seen on Netflix. They did the documentary series, The Wrestlers, but I don't know. But
is Netflix gonna do the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul?
They are like, you know.
Why, Mike? Why?
But I think they should. Okay, celebrity boxing match. I'm gonna say it: Henry Cavill versus David Corenswet. That should be the celebrity boxing match. Winner is Superman from this point on. I think that's how a lot of casting should go.
Interesting thing you mentioned Henry Cavill there. So about James Bond and Henry Cavill, right? Alright, he shows up again. So the thing he's doing the film with Guy Ritchie, the Ungentlemanly Gentleman, is actually based off the guy who actually inspired James Bond.
Do you know what? The thing with Henry Cavill is he actually signed on to be in Argyle, which to me means that he should never play James Bond ever. You know, he will never ever be James Bond now, because he did Argyle and just came across like an imbecile in the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, so quickly go back to the celebrity boxing thing. If he does do celebrity boxing, I want him to do the Mission Impossible arm pump thing he does.
Yes. He reloaded his arms. Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Gerald, you had asked, I saw, about the Joker trailer. Have you seen it?
Yep.
What's your take on it?
I liked it. I am somewhat surprised that that her name is going to be Harley. So basically, it's a nod to Harley Quinn, just because the Joker from the first Joker movie is not previously part of any of the mythos of DC.
Yeah, but they still had Thomas Wayne in it and like young Bruce in it. It's just
that's fair.
Yeah, I completely see what you're saying, because how is this that Harley if it's not that Joker? But obviously Harley Quinn started in the animated series, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
What version of the Joker is in that? Does he have a person name?
The Mark Hamill.
I don't know if they. Yeah, I don't know if they say who that Joker is.
Maybe it's Arthur Fleck.
I think it has to be the Tim Burton Joker version. I think, because like didn't that show happen right after Tim Burton's movie?
I believe it's the comedian Joker, the failed comedian.
From the Three Jokers story, yeah. Could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they going back into his past and do the whole Red Hood thing.
Yeah, I was going to say Red Hood they have in the animated series as well. But I think it looks good. I really I've watched the Joker movie a couple times, which is not the only a couple times because it's bad, but it is dark and dreary, and it's sort of an emotional slog, which is fine, but I mean it's a very good movie, and I think this one's going to be up there as well. And I think Lady Gaga, I think she's going to do very well in it as well. And then of course Joaquin with his sort of method acting thing, he's really embraced it. You can see, and I think like he's super skinny and bony in the first parts of it and whatnot. And he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's incredible. So. Looking forward to it. I think they said October is when it's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Ooh, Halloween.
It's going to be really interesting to see what this does to the Harley Quinn character going forward, because Suicide Squad, everything with DCU, Peacemaker, it wasn't impossible that Margot Robbie could return. And if this is this really gritty, realistic thing, what does Margot Robbie's future hold as that character, or is it just over now?
Here's the thing with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I believe that Joaquin Phoenix's entire universe itself is self-contained.
It
Whatever
is, yeah.
happens in the Joker movies doesn't affect any of the other ones. So
No, I know, but from the perspective of like, who will even care about some sort of more light-hearted version from Margot Robbie if there's like this gritty version where it's like, oh yeah, but did you see what Harley Quinn does here? And she shoots someone in the face and there's blood and.
I think the thing with Margot Robbie, I think I think it's more or less she was playing Harley Quinn. It was like Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I think it's her own star powers with characters actually have.
Yeah, with the whole Margot Robbie Harley Quinn thing, people really forget that after Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, we had another Joker since then. Barry Keoghan was Joker in the Batman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, and he looked awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they can both exist separately without conflicting and drawing comparisons. It's not like the 90s where there was only one Batman property because of the Batman embargo. You can have multiple versions of the same character, and they probably could do that basically.
Yeah.
I don't know what James Gunn's gonna do at all. At this point, he's probably just throw an ice and let's do something. We just have all these things.
He's trying to just put his wife in everything he can.
Do you know, it's so, this is gonna, people will look back at this time, not that they already aren't, but at this era of the DC films and everything, and people are going to be like, what the hell was going on during this time period that we've just lived through and still living through? Just because at the moment they're in the position where there's going to be a brand new Batman in the DCU, and however they deal that and whoever's playing these characters. At the same time, Joker, at least the first one, was successful, and I don't see any way that this one won't be successful. And there's the Batman, which will have its own Joker and Bruce Wayne and all this stuff, which the first one was successful, the second one probably will be. And it's this weird branching thing where it kind of needs to stop for 5 years and then have a clear, fresh start. But they have all of these threads, which only within the last year, but when Flash came out, it's like, well, here's Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton, which we've brought back after 30 years, so he's new again. And it is such a complete mess that I think that either what James Gunn does has to be so fantastic that people don't mind that there's Joker, the Batman, and DCU all happening at the same time, or they need to kill some of these threads off. Cap, go ahead.
I think right now the only decent superhero property right now is going is Invincible. And I'm thinking it's probably going to take over, probably even live-action movies, if the theater series gets finished at all. Because, they did the multiverse thing for one episode. That's all they did. And they're like, we're off. We're not doing that again. Because that's a good thing, because that's what normally shows and movies, shows did. They do one episode of the multiverse thing, and they go, maybe we'll bring it back the next season for one episode, but we're not going to do this too much, because again, we already have a main plot line that people are invested in. Yeah, if you convolute it so much, it's going to go back. But before I give it to Dev, I just want to say one thing about Invincible, is that yeah, it takes a long time to make an animated show, but not that long, creators. I grew up in the 2000s. We had every season, every year. We didn't have to wait 3 or 2 years for season 2. We know you're milking it, and we are blaming you for it.
It's going to be partly to the actors' strike and stuff like this, writers' strike. Everyone was just holding stuff back.
No, they literally on the show told us that the reason why they didn't do season 2 is because animation is super hard to make. They have a conversation at a Comic-Con. They're saying oh, this is the reason why. This is why we couldn't do this. This is why we have cutbacks on things. You have Amazon, one of the most richest companies there is, and don't tell me those actions. That animation is the same as the 2000 animation. Okay, you're not doing something incredible. Just do damn work.
Yeah. Okay, Dev,
Yeah, the problem with Invincible is the production and the release schedule is erratic. Like, even if they said we're going to release a series every 2 years, that would be fine. But they don't tell you when or where or how many episodes per release or whatever. They tell you nothing. And they're like, oh, coming soon. And
It's
I don't
because
know
they know. They know they're the only quality show right there in the market, and by like a huge fan base, they're like, we're gonna milk it for what you got.
Here's the thing, right? Even if they do, by doing that, bigger shows than Invincible have died by doing that.
Yeah.
Such as?
Bigger shows, Gravity Falls and like Ninja Turtles, because of the 2003 show was cancelled because of low viewership because nobody knew when it was on.
Yeah.
Nobody knew when Ninja Turtles was coming. And like loads of like 90s Ninja Turtles, like Power Ranger ripoff style team shows were cancelled because of really rapid scheduling.
Well, do you know, just if I can just interject, because this is going to kill two birds with one stone. Speaking of shows that have erratic schedules that cancelled them before their time, but also just to debunk Cap's idea that like a show should only do the multiverse in one episode. I mean, what more can I say? But Sliders, like that was the best show ever made.
Yeah.
And then it changed networks, it changed nights, and then no one could keep up with it. And also, it showed you that you can do the multiverse in every episode.
But isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the Sliders where they just traveled into the universe?
Yes, and it's the best thing ever.
Well, the problem you have.
You're saying a show about multiverse show can do like multiverse every week of the episode. That's your whole point.
Yes, look, no, a show can do multiverse every week.
If it's a multiverse show.
Well, Quantum Leap is time travel, so. And Stargate. Look, Quantum Leap, Stargate, Sliders, they're all basically the same show. Someone goes through like a magic portal, they wind up somewhere new, they meet people who have got problems, and they help them solve them. And then you can get on with your week. It's good.
The problem with the multiverse thing is basically, you know, the Marvel side of it, Disney side of it, and the DC side of it, they've used it as their basically get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yes.
So when they do have these resets, that's what they do. So to me, it's just a weak plot point to leverage to have that ability to do it.
Has it actually solved any plot points? Look, if in Marvel, this teasing the multiverse thing, it's been such like we say every week that there's a hand coming out of the planet Earth in the MCU, and they just haven't resolved things. We haven't seen Captain America since he became Captain America, and there's so many problems. But here's the thing, because now the multiverse was first introduced like basically in Endgame we were dealing with the multiverse, but since then with WandaVision and then the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man, we've had this multiverse thing, but instead of it being this exciting thing where they bring in characters from past things, they haven't done anything with it. So the whole point of having this in the MCU was, one, they could bring in Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire and things, but also it's a way of recasting people like Robert Downey Jr. and that. And they haven't used this device at all. They haven't recast anyone by saying, hey, or even bringing someone back. Other than Gamora, who was like, well, I was the alternative dimension one, and I'm not going to get with you, Quill, for your happy ending. They haven't actually brought in an alternative anyone that was the same actor even.
Yeah, it's just what they've done is they've used it just so that they can leave stuff hanging and they don't have to address it because they can sit down with another one and move on.
See, David, I will argue with that. I will counter-argue.
Go for it.
My counter-argument for that is, first of all, Deadpool's coming, so revisit this thought process then.
Well,
plus,
how long have we been waiting?
With the new villain being Dr. Doom because Kang did things. 2 words: Secret Wars.
I'm not even, look, I already lived through Secret Invasion. I don't know if I can take a Secret War as well. I don't want to see anything that's got anything secret or scrolls. I never liked the scrolls. Like, for God's sakes, I hope that there's so many of these things where they just need to say, with the MCU, they need to have like a room of characters meeting, having an Avengers meeting, and then like a portal, like a hexagon rips through the multiverse, sucks through the characters that either we do want and then we follow them, or it sucks away all of the characters we don't want and then it gives the ones who are left, oh, we have to go and rescue them.
I like to see all the characters we don't like brutally get murdered.
David, I don't know if you've seen the Spider-Man animated series, Secret Wars.
I have not.
Where Spider-Man, given the power by Beyonder, to summon whoever he wants to fight Doctor Doom and his team of villains. Yeah. And he summons people from Fantastic Four, Captain America, and like Storm from X-Men. And like, it's literally going to be that. Probably going to be that, because they're just going to be summoning like people from different universes like that, basically.
Yeah.
But who's going to be the lead? Like, is it going to be? I don't think it's going to be Spider-Man, because Spider-Man already did that with his Spider-Man. So, who?
Marvel desperately need to sign up Tom Holland for another 10 years, because when he got this role, he was literally like 17 or 18. And so even though he's been in this role for a number of years now, he's actually young enough. Whereas, obviously, there was the pandemic, but it's been so many years since Avengers Endgame, where it's just been this sort of, oh, we don't really know what the story is. We're building to something. Here's a tease. We'll see which one you like, and then we'll do more with it. That at this stage, when we say about, oh, are they going to bring in Hugh Jackman? It's like, Hugh Jackman is 71 years old this year, right? It's just like, we don't care. It's like, here comes Halle Berry, and she's literally on a mobility scooter. Like, all of these characters, literally everyone is in Patrick Stewart's wheelchair, right? They are all so old. I don't want them to bring back the Fox X-Men at this stage. Just have someone new, have someone younger, like make it a new team, make it fresh again. If they're relying on these cameos, the time to have done that was 4 years ago.
The only star that Marvel has successfully made so far is Tom Holland. Tom Holland, as they introduced us, they were going to make us as a huge Spider-Man star, and they did. All of his movies, so far, successful. And he might think, you know what, maybe I should write this and just enough already.
Yeah, true. Wait, you saying he's the only star they've made? What about Chris Pratt?
Downey Jr.
He was what?
How about Robert Downey Jr.?
Well, he was already a star, though, right?
No, I'm saying he's the new star that they actually made. So when they brought in the new generation, they got Wonder, they got Spider-Man, they got the new Miss Marvel. Internationally, one that's been so successful so far is Tom Holland. When the first year we did Civil War to the last movie, he's been real successful.
Okay, but like...
I've got one more name for you. Florence Pugh.
Who?
Black Widow's sister.
Elena. Yeah.
I think she was a star before that.
She was in Fighting With Your Family, where she played the wrestler Paige in a movie produced by The Rock.
Yep, that was a good movie.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like...
I don't know her. Also, I don't know her well enough by name. So that's what tells you in the international market. Like, when you said, her name, I was like, who?
Well, it's interesting. Like, it feels like the only person who's become a star out of being in, like, a superhero movie in, like, the last 5 years is Sydney Sweeney. And there's a couple of reasons why she's become famous, and I don't think either one of them was Madam Web.
It was not the superhero.
It was not Madam Web that did it. Okay, guys, we're gonna have to begin to wrap things in a few minutes. So just to give you the warning, if there are any major things that we haven't covered yet. Apparently there's a trailer for a Bambi horror movie, but it looks low budget, so I think we can leave that one. Apparently Will Smith is back. There is a trailer of Bad Boys Ride or Die. So, yes. I haven't seen it yet, but we can check it out another time.
I didn't particularly like the last Bad Boys. Again, they did the whole thing like they were going to pass the torch.
Yeah, I hate that.
I was like, no. It's just movies, guys. We don't need to bring in... And then all the younger generation, shit. if you bring in good guys, people be like, yeah, let's have the next Will Smith. There wasn't anyone who was charismatic enough. If like Will Smith was the only charismatic character they had.
I agree. Like in the last Bad Boys film, Martin Lawrence the whole time was like, I'm retired. It's like, well, get off the screen then, right? I don't want to hear you like just complaining about being old, right? It's like every single Disney sequel before like 2010 was just like, here are our children, let's follow them. It's like, no, I want to see Simba. I don't want to see this kid. You know, I don't want to see like 101 Dalmatians children. I want to see Pongo. You know, what are they doing? Like every single one.
That's why, David, all those sequels went to straight to DVD.
Well, then this is what they should do with the Avengers films. Because when it's like, hi, I'm Ironheart. It's like, who are you? You're not Iron Man. And it's like,
DVD.
And then you're like, who the hell is Florence Pugh? Exactly. It is literally just the Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. You know, it's like the Avengers phase whatever, Iron Man's Pride, and he's just holding up like She-Hulk in his hands.
And that's why when they did Lion King 3 or 1.5, it was much better than the sequel. Yeah. It was Timon and Pumbaa, but it was so much better. I love that film so much.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Again, that's like, you don't need to pass the torch for every franchise. Like someone like Big Bad Boys, right? They only have 2 movies, right? Give us at least 5 and then do the, you know, passing the torch thing.
I think the formula... No, go ahead, Gerald.
I was going to say, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, you know, so part of the reason why you have these franchises was because of the actors. And what they're trying to do is they think, so far incorrectly, that if they keep the franchise name alive, that'll be what's tying people to it. But like Indiana Jones, why do you watch Indiana Jones? Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, not whoever it is, his kid, Shia LaBeouf, or whoever the person was on the last one. I haven't seen the last 2 because, you know, it's just, it doesn't have that draw. And it's like, and like Bad Boys, why do you watch it? Because of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, not because of whoever they're going to try and force in there. And
yeah.
They just haven't figured that out yet.
Well, here's the thing, like Martin Lawrence...
Like, that was such a good franchise. Why did you cast Thor?
I know.
Why?
They were like, hey, Thor and his lady friend from Ragnarok, they were popular in that film. Let's put them into Men in Black. It's like, it didn't work.
No.
Okay, so here's the thing. So this may be the approach they need. If you remember the first Lethal Weapon film, literally in the first film, Danny Glover is like, I'm too old for this shit. And it's like they've made 4 of them since then. It's like he was retiring in the first one. You just, you know, make it the joke that they're always too old, or don't ever say that they're too old.
I mean, like, do what the 90s and the 80s starred Arnold and Schwarzenegger did. They at least wrote out their franchise for at least 5 films, and then they decided, you know what, we'll pass the torch. You'll hate it anyway.
Wait, who did he pass the torch to?
Creed, I think. But that was a good one.
Oh, Stallone.
Yeah, Creed.
Yeah, Creed,
He didn't want to pass the torch. He literally was like, I want the rights to this franchise. And they were like, no. He's like, I ain't doing it then.
No, that was the second one. So he was very happy. He was
the world can be big and loud and scary.
Oh, whoa, what?
But when I put on this cookie hoodie, it blocks everything out.
Is that me?
Can hurt me there.
I think it's you.
It was me. One of my websites, my tabs that I've got open went rogue. Sorry about that. I hate the hub. It always does this.
Shit, what was I saying? Who was I talking about?
I don't know.
Stallone. Creed.
Oh yeah, Stallone, Creed.
Yeah, he said like he's still happy to do movies with Michael B. Jordan. He's not really happy with the production when that's the direction that they took on. He wasn't really happy with it. They basically stole the franchise. But he was very happy with Creed, and he was very happy with Creed 2 as well. Creed 3 where the business management where he had trouble with. But otherwise he was fine with the way Rocky was going. And I think that was one of the most successful passing of the torch movies. I love Creed so much.
Yeah. Right, guys, we are going to have to begin to wrap things up here just because Extreme Improv is on in a few minutes. And I need to quickly attend to something beforehand. But let's find out where we can find this week's Geek of the Week is Tim. So well done, Tim. Right, let's find out where we can find everyone.
What happened to,
if you have I know. If you have a recommendation, a geeky recommendation for the people this week, let us know. Capithave, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Swifties, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And you can watch my recent video, The Most Villainous Moment of Jafar. It's really good. You can so watch. It's not what you think. And also, you can watch a short of literally cartoons from the 2000 giving kids existential crisis and philosophy and stuff. And we're just talking. It's really funny, but it's really good. So go check that out, and you can also find me here on numerous shows.
Okay, Dev, where can the people find you?
They can find me on TikTok and Twitch under the name F3DAT. And my geek recommendation is Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 2, which comes out in 2 weeks. Okie
dokie. Gerald.
At Instagram, Gerald Geek. However, I don't check it all that often, so go check out these other guys' stuff. One thing I will recommend you not to watch is Wish. I mean, the story was just weak. The singing is pretty decent, but the story's lame, and I wouldn't waste my time.
Yeah, okay. My name is David Postanski. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Postanski. In terms of geeky recommendations, guys, if you've got Netflix, I don't know, it might not be the same in the US, but they've literally added all 8 seasons of Monk, and I am loving life because of it. So check out Monk, because it's a jungle out there, as they say. Also, for some reason, the pilot episode has, like, the famous theme tune, whereas they didn't introduce it till later. And then the next episodes don't. I don't know why they changed it. But anyway, also do check out the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel. It's the gaming channel spin-off from this show, and I've got a bunch of cool documentaries on there at the moment, including one series about all of the weird Street Fighter games that have ever been